Hey there, hey, and thank you for tuning into this hump day edition of No Media Allowed, No Media Allowed, No Media Allowed, because they lie to us anyway. So, what a day it is. It is the confirmation hearing of JFK today. RFK. Sorry, JFK is no longer alive. He was assassinated a very long time ago, and at some point soon we will get the documents to see exactly what happened. I'm going to go ahead and say I think that the FBI and the CIA had something to do with it, and it wasn't an accident. In fact, I'm just going to come out and say I don't think any of the assassinations of any of the presidents or Martin Luther King Jr. or Malcolm X were accidents. I definitely don't think it was an accident that people attempted to terminate the life of Donald Trump multiple times during his run for re-election to the presidency. And I don't think it's an accident that many others have died along the way and been shot in cold blood, including the United Healthcare worker that was shot in New York. I'm going to start there today. I'm very upset that we live in a society that wants to only give you one fucking side. And I think that if you're American, you should be upset about it too. Elizabeth Warren is a comic actor. She pretended to be Native American for fucking centuries to get free things. And have you seen Elizabeth Warren? She's whiter than white, right? She's Caucasian. There's no Native American in her at all, ever. But she lied about it. There's a bunch of these people. There's a New Mexican senator. There's the senator from, Atlanta, Warnock, who's a moron, who I thought was replaced, but he's still there. Okay. And then there's the big man, the guy from Vermont, the person that I don't even really want to say his name because I just don't understand Bernie Sanders at all. Medical for all doesn't work. It prevents actual medical discovery and care, right? It limits you to shitty practices, crappy doctors, and limited results. And I don't want it, right? No one should want that shitty coverage. And why is it the responsibility of the young people, of the generations younger than the older, to pay for the coverage for older people, for Medicare and shit? Why is that my problem? Why is that your problem? Why is that our kids' problem? This system in the United States is fucking broken, and I don't think that they're going to ask the correct questions to RFK. And I definitely think that his hearing is blatantly very obvious, just like I think Pete's hearing was pretty evident, and definitely the other woman as well, right? They're attacking Republicans in Trump's chamber as if they did not elect in people in the last administration that were completely unqualified, including the press secretary who can't read or tell you the alphabet A through Z. She can't look up from a binder, and they called her binder because she walked around with one, because she couldn't memorize anything, so she needed to have that fucking book with her, like a dictionary or some sort of encyclopedia. You probably should not be hiring someone that has a shitty memory that needs an encyclopedia to get through documentation. But okay, I listened to or I watched the new press secretary yesterday. I thought she did a phenomenal job. I think it's even better that she's a beautiful young woman. She's 27, had her first baby, and she was wearing a cross. Right? I liked that. I like that she answered the question. She said that she's bringing new media in, meaning fuck the regular media, and a new precedent is being set. I like that. I don't like some of the questions that were being asked by the shitty media that does exist. And I think that we need to move forward understanding that the remote control media is limited now. Generation Z is not watching them. Even my generation isn't watching them. None of us are looking at the news, except for maybe like old people, or I guess the people that work there. We are getting all of our information from X and Truth and Rumble And in some cases, I guess you could say the information is being gotten from TikTok or even maybe Meta. Although I don't really think anybody goes on Meta except for old people anymore or weird people. But everybody's getting their media in another way. And I think at some point, Fox News, there's not going to be as many people on. I think at some point, they're going to have to figure out how to play with that. They're going to have to try to build out their network of podcasters, and they're going to have to jump into this. We are the media now. So I'm very happy. And it really put like a volt of energy and a volt of happiness within my body and my blood and my mind and my spirit that she said you can fill out an application and you can apply for a press pass. Any of us. So if you have a podcast where you're talking about media or you're talking about what's going on, you can become a part of this history. How incredible is that? We just had a president for 4 years that revoked the press pass of like 500 people. I mean, shit. Honestly, there's a lot going on. Yesterday, she made a statement about the fact that if you walk into the country and you don't have citizenship, you broke the law. I think that she did a great job talking to the idiot that asked her that question. Looks like Trump has rescinded the some of what he made into law, but he's not completely blocking out the freeze on some of these agencies, which I think is great. And the only people that are whining about this shit, the only people that are whining about this are the dinos and the rhinos that have their money and their hands in the shit. Look at the people that are talking against it, saying that our firefighters and our police officers are going to be affected. Look at the people talking about Medicare now. Look at these people. Why are they bringing this shit up now? What about all the dead people that are dead? What about the things that have already happened? Why didn't they talk about that then? Why are they talking about that now? I wonder. You should be wondering too. Why weren't these conversations important when it's not connected to something where they're getting paid for it? And honestly, all these people are disgraceful, unqualified, incompetent morons. And I can make those statements because if you look up their histories, you've looked up the things they've been a part of, you looked at the committees they're a part of, if you looked up history in the last 40 to 50 years, which they've all been there for. I mean, fucking Nancy Pelosi's like 90, right? Joe Biden is like the same age, basically. These people have spent their entire careers demoralizing the government of the United States of America and being crooks and schemesters and liars and breaking the law in every way. No, these fucking politicians shouldn't have any access to Wall Street or any access to investments or any access to any of that. And hopefully in this administration, that shit will be removed and ended. I don't know. I mean, Trump's really going to have to fight for that. But the idea that the senators, the Republican senators that have the House and the Senate, would not put through RFK, would not put through Tulsi Gabbard, and would not put through Cash after they put through all the other ridiculous people in the last administration makes you consider whose side are they on anyway. If we are really going to make America better and fix it, if we're really going to fix this shit, we're going to have to get rid of these swamp people. And the only way you're going to get rid of the swamp people is to cut the ties. The Medicare, the medical, the inflation, the food stamps, it's got to go, right? If you don't qualify for this shit, it's too bad. We've got to do hard work here. We're going to have a lot of enemies. We're going to have to make decisions that normal people don't like. Like, if you really want to understand stuff, you really have to do a better job of investigating it. And if you're not, you're going to deal with the consequences. We have too much debt here. In order for us to get out of debt, we have to cut some things. And I don't care about what Elizabeth Warren or anybody else has to say about it because they've been in power for a long time and they didn't do shit. So we have to be different. We do. And not only do we have to be different, but we have to think smarter. It has to be a better way of us to operate the country, to operate the books, and to operate for the American people. And that's not with the Democrats at all. They are a party of failure, incompetence, and ignorance. And if you want to abide by their rules, then you're going to deal with all the problems in all the other countries that don't fucking work. The failed experiments. It's called the Democratic Party. It's called progressivism. And if you want to be a part of that failed joke, go ahead and jump on board with the sinking ship called the Progressive Titanic. It's going underwater and it's not coming back up. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. They don't understand minutes, and they don't understand logic, and they don't understand sanity or common sense. They're morons. That's the opening headlines. Before we get to the main part of the conversation today on this very version of the No Media Allowed for today, which is January 29th of 2025. So, war. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Say it again. War. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. It is good for nothing, because how is it benefiting the United States? I got to tell you, I don't care about Ukraine. I'm going to say something that's probably not nice, and forgive me, Jesus, and forgive me, St. Peter Claver and Father Ford. I'm going to ask God for forgiveness after I say this, but I'm going to say it anyway, because it needs to be said. Fuck Ukraine. I don't care about Ukraine. They played with fire and they got burnt. Why are we fucking around, wasting time and giving them more money? Why is it the responsibility of Donald Trump and his group of smart people to help the leader of Ukraine? You are a fucking moron, and you thought it was important to have celebrities come to your country and take pictures. You thought it was a great idea to make this something that it wasn't. Now you're coming out saying the Biden administration didn't help you with certain things. Why weren't you saying that when it was happening? Now you're coming out saying that you want to do this or you want to do that. You weren't saying that then. You're full of shit. You wanted attention, just like the celebrities. You're all desperate for attention, and you think that you matter more than you do. You are corrupt, and I don't think it's the responsibility of the United States to give freedom to the Ukrainians. Why is that our problem? It's not. Too fucking bad. You want to mess around with fire, you're going to get burnt. And everybody in the fucking world knows that the guy in charge of Russia is fucking crazy, and to just leave him the fuck alone. You'd think you know that. There's been one man been able to talk to him, and that's been Trump. But you motherfuckers wanted to elect in Joe Biden that can't talk to a wall about nothing. And you think that that's going to help with anything? Right. Okay. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to give Russia whatever they want, and you're going to shut the fuck up. Clearly, a lot of people have been lost on both sides, but in the end of this, Russia is still going to end up getting what they want. And I think that it's really insane that we created a system that wanted to tell Ukraine that they were winning, and they have lost a long time ago. Ukraine is gone, right? So for them to build it back up, they're going to need a lot of money and a lot of time. And how are they going to get that? How are they going to get these things? Why is it my responsibility or any other American, middle class, under middle class, top 1%, high of the top middle 1%, upper middle class, all classes in the United States, all the people? We are paying into something that we didn't sign off on. I don't want you to take my tax money and give it to Ukraine. I don't care about Ukraine. Fuck Ukraine. Fuck the people there. Fuck the land there. Fuck all of it. Because you know what? They definitely don't care about me or my family or the land that I live in and a house that I have. They don't care about me at all. So why should I give them any time of day? And I know it's the responsibility of Christians, especially Catholics, to care about others that can't care about themselves. In some ways, I love Christianity, but in other ways that I don't. I think there's a lot of incorrect things going on with NGOs and Catholicism that don't make any sense. I think that the Pope needs to be fired, and I think that the Christian views need to have a better representation. And I think that it's not the responsibility of Catholic charities or any other fucking charity to bail out Ukraine, who definitely doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. And moving off of Ukraine, because I said it, and gotta forgive me. Let's talk about Israel. How did those people get there? How did they fuck up enough that they allowed in all those people from Hamas that day? Why did Hamas just let off 4 women soldiers and not the people that they said? And why are they okay signing off on these deals where they give these people back 200 people that are in jail there? That's idiotic. Like, and I love Trump, but this is stupid. 4 goes into 200 many times. I know that everybody on Fox News and every other news station and every other conservative podcast wants to brag about how Trump is the reason we got people back, but I'm not going to do that here because I think this was idiotic. They need to be decimated, and I love, like, the people that have been taken, right, the hostages. But this is war, and that's called collateral damage, and in order for us to truly, entirely get rid of Hamas, they might have to die. I'm sorry. Like, do we actually want this to end? Why are we playing? Why are we acting like we're going to be able to save all these people? Originally, there was like 200 fucking, like, people taken, and we don't actually know what the number is. They could be making shit up. They could be lying. They could be sending back people that aren't who they said they are. Why are they taking so long to decipher and give out the information? Maybe Trump needs to just blow them up beforehand. What are we waiting for? I think that Daily Wire and Ben Shapiro has a tendency to always think that Israel is right about everything. And I don't think they are. I think that the Jewish culture and Jewish people have a tendency to think that they matter more than they might do. And they definitely didn't like the idea that Hamas is not, it's, saying from the river to the sea. And I'm on the side of Israel. I'm on the side of completely annihilating Hamas. They are not good for any culture, any people, anywhere at all. But I'm also on the side of sanity. The idea that Jewish people want to say everything is wrong. And the idea that some Jewish people don't want to have an understanding of other religions that aren't Jewish is wrong. The idea that these parents of these people that have been kidnapped are not thinking long term about the fact that this shit's going to happen again. Maybe not in the 4 years Trump's there, but what about the next time another Democratic leadership gets the White House in power? It's likely going to happen again. And it might not be Putin. It could be the next person next. Because now the world has seen what happens when Jewish people are taken or Americans are taken. They'll do anything to get them back. They'll give back convicted murderers that have done horrible shit. And they'll sign off on 200, 300, 500, 1,000, whatever the fuck the number is, to get back 5 people. And the world witnessed that. When they brought those women up on that stage a couple days ago and they showed what they were, they said one message: we won. And Israel failed. So it doesn't matter what Trump did, because it was a failure. And I'm going to call it out. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like it was great. I said it when it was happening. I said this was stupid. I said they shouldn't do it. And now they're fucked. They're fucked because the entire world knows they'll do anything for 4 people. And those 4 women that got caught, what the fuck? Why are we putting the lives of millions up for 4? There'll be people that are saying, oh, their lives. Oh, we got to get the hostages back. Oh, we got to do this. Oh, we got to do... I'm not going to be one of those people. I'm thinking long term. This was idiotic. You can't just think about today. You got to think about 15 days from now. You have to think about 10 years from yesterday. And they're not doing that. They are paving the way for the people that they just let leave, that they had behind bars, to come back and do it again. And the guy that was in charge of Hamas was somebody that they let out from, guess what? A hostage negotiation. So tell me how that works. It doesn't. This is dumb. And they have not seen the consequences yet, but they're going to. I don't want to hear about Israel anymore. I don't want to hear about Gaza. No one gives a flying fuck about Gaza. It should just be blown up, right, and removed. And why aren't these other countries taking in these Palestinians? Why? I definitely don't want to hear about any of these fucking crazy people coming to the United States of America, because it's not happening. You know what this war has created? It's incentivized these ridiculous institutions and these liberal ass colleges to accept in these ridiculous protests that don't make any sense. Because if you're in America, then you shouldn't be protesting anything because you're free. So shut the fuck up. And these student visas need to be reneged, and these students need to be sent back to whatever fucking country they came from. That should be an executive order too. That should have been an executive order the first day he was in there. So I'm waiting for him to come out with that executive order. Trump, you're probably not listening to this podcast, but if somebody's listening to it that can talk to Trump, send the students back where they came from, because the students are going to end up doing something that's going to end up fucking us over, and we can avoid another 9/11. For the love of God, get these people out of the United States of America. They are anti-American and they don't belong here. That's it. War is good for nothing, and we all know it. I'm going to call it a hostage still, and I put that in the notes here. America should be smarter, but it's often stupid because it's run by ignorant people. We talked about Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders. How smart are they? Look how old they are. The representation for the Republican Party is a 27-year-old press secretary and a 40-something-year-old vice president. Trump is smart enough to think ahead. The people that are running beside him are not old and elderly and decrepit, and they don't know what the fuck is going on. He is creating the new leaders of tomorrow with young people with different views that use TikTok, right? He's thinking about this shit. Dude, the guy that helped RFK is like a young, like 20-something-year-old that did TikTok videos to help him. Like, we're not in the same place we were 30 years ago, and we're not going back to that. Nobody watches the news. The political lies and ties are everywhere. And like I said earlier in this conversation, I don't think any of these politicians should have access to any type of stocks and locks and barrels and investments in anything, except for maybe an investment in taking away their fucking salaries. You should make the same amount of money that's the minimum wage for the place you represent. Because this should not be about money. This should be about you representing the voices of the American people. You're in a town, district, or city for. That's it. Not because you want to become filthy fucking rich off the backs of the American working class. And I don't want to hear anything about the 1%, the top 1%, the high middle class, the middle class, the people that are enjoying their lives, the people that are going on vacations, the people that have money and can order out dinner if they want every night. I don't want to hear people shun me and my husband and our family and his sister and my brother and anybody else that's having a good fucking life. Suck a dick and die, okay? Moving on. You don't get to tell us how we should fucking live while you get to live in an ivory fucking tower. Right? All these people they keep whining about in California. The only reason they're whining is because they can't touch their prestigious $18 million fucking house. Really? The political ties. The only reason they want to talk about that stuff is because it's their stuff. It's not because it's anything happening to you. And I don't want to hear about black people, white people, whatever. There's an over hyped narrative that everybody should pretend like black people are a part of everything. They're not. They're 3% of the 3 to 6% of the United States of America. And do you know what 3% of the United States of America, if there's 100%, that means that there's another 94% of other things. If we're going to live somewhere, we should all be great. It should be based off merit, and that shouldn't matter. We need to get back to that. The world needs to see the red, white, and blue, and they need to know one message. Fuck around and find out. And I think that message needs to be sent to Iran. And I think that message needs to be sent to Afghanistan. I think maybe that message has to be sent to Russia And it definitely needs to be sent to Ukraine. You made stupid fucking decisions with the Biden administration, and now you want the Trump administration to bail you the fuck out. Nah, man. That message definitely needs to be sent to the banks, too. And everybody that has a Bank of America account should get rid of it. Because they're a con artist. They're a show. And they're full of shit. They only want people to be at their bank pretending like they don't have all this money. Pretending like they don't have all this power. Off of corruption and greed. And that's got to end. So, let's end it together. Let's take away their power. Let's take away the power for the world. If you want to succeed, you have to come here to succeed. And let's make China get what they deserve. They're not first place. Let's take away the power from the people trying to harm America. Because if the world is going to succeed, it only succeeds if America succeeds. If these other countries actually want to succeed, it's not going to be with the help of their own fucking government that doesn't care about them, that typically leaves them for dead and doesn't care. Let's look at Colombia, where that man is losing his seat. Let's look at Ecuador. Let's look at Venezuela. Let's look at Spain. Let's look at Italy. Let's look at the UK, who is failing. Let's look at all these shitty countries. Let's look at India. Let's look at all these countries, right? Haiti, the government there failed. Mexico, the government is being run by the drug cartels. All these countries have one thing in common. Their government doesn't work. Even China. It's a failure for the people. It's not a representation of the people that live in those places. And if the people in those places are going to rise and make a difference for their children's children, they're going to have to understand the power of the United States, and they're just going to have to deal with that. I'm sorry, Romania. I'm sorry, Albania, Germany. America's the bitch. Get on board or get left in the dust. Like I said, fuck around and find out. That's it. Moving on for the main part of the conversation, America is great. She is the best of the best. Welcome to the in crowd. Trump's mug is hilarious. When he's having these conversations during these press conferences within the last week, the way his face looks, I love it. The way he just answers questions and puts his hands up and he's not arguing with these idiots, I love it. I think he should continue. It's great. Laughing at the idiots. Dude, Jim Acosta went on his show, not yesterday, but I think the day before, and he announced that he was stepping down from his show, and he said at the end of his message to be strong and continue to fight and use social media and to do all this stuff. And I got a message for Jim Acosta, and I'm going to try to not laugh while I'm saying this. I didn't even know who you were. I had to Google you. I was looking at fucking Greg the other night, and the guest that was on the show said that she had to Google him too. And while she was saying that, I had to look him up because I didn't know who the fuck he was. They put him to midnight, and the majority of Americans did not know who he was. Hilarious. So you're telling Democrats to continue to work for what? You have no leader, you have no voice, and you're not a part of this party, buddy. That's why you got moved to midnight. That's why you decided you want to do something different. What are you going to do different now? What other station are you going to go to? Are you going to get a podcast? Bro, podcast became a thing a long time ago, and you're fucking confused. These old people that work in the media on TV are pathetic, and we should just continue to laugh at them. We've already been on a podcast. We understand the importance of free speech and a different way of doing things. And they're just coming to this fruition. This is just like when Don Lemon got fucking fired. It's hilarious. And pretty soon there will be no Joy Reid, and there will be no View, and there will be no one else. Because they're not talking to people. They're talking to something that does not exist. It's over. You lost. You suck. And you're getting ripped to shreds. And not figuratively, but literally. You have nothing to sit back on. You have nothing left. The Democratic Party is a shell of nothing. You chastise and attack people and show up at their houses with the FBI, and you talk to the Trump supporters like we don't matter. You treated North Carolina like a stepchild, and then you pretend that California is so important. But California can eat shit too, because y'all voted for those people. So I really don't feel bad for you at all. In fact, I don't feel bad for you. And Melania can give you sympathy because she has to. Hopefully she's pretending, but I'm not going to. The Christian part of me wants to care about the people that live there that aren't connected to the political, situation. But I'm reminded that everybody that lives in those places voted for that mayor. So there's no sympathy. Jim Acosta is a moron. Nobody cares. Mitch needs to go. I mean, what purpose is he serving? If he's not going to get on board and vote to put these people in these positions. Why is he still there if he's going to vote for the Democratic people and not give any trouble? But the moment it's a Republican, he's going to say he doesn't want to do it. He's showing exactly who he's been the entire time, which is why he just needs to leave. I wish there was a way that Trump could fire him, but maybe he'll just resign and go away forever. Pro-life needs a voice too. Those people were attacked and they were jailed, and luckily Donald Trump, let them out and pardoned them all. But the RFK confirmation is an example of them bringing pro-life into the conversation of the position he's running for after the last person was there. I'm just going to say, what the fuck, with a question mark. RFK is probably the only person that would be like overqualified that position that would actually get things done. I'm not fully convinced that the vaccinations that we give to children or the vaccinations that we take actually help us with anything. I don't really know if we need all these vaccinations. I could tell you every time I get the fucking flu shot, or every time I had gotten one of those COVID vaccinations, I got sick. And I don't like feeling like that. So I haven't gotten any more COVID vaccinations, and I'm not. And I get the flu shot so I don't get the flu, but I feel like every time I take the damn flu shot, I feel sick like I have the flu. So I'm not convinced with shots, but that's a conversation for a different day. I find him very interesting. I think that he already has so much experience dealing with courts and battles and pharma and the drug industry that he will be exceptional in this position. And to all those that are undermining him and second guessing him, look at the last person that ran it. I'm just going to say that. Look at the last people that were in these positions before the Republican Party took back the White House. In 4 years, the Democratic Party went from convincing people they were going to do all these things to showing everybody that they weren't going to do anything. United Healthcare is full of shit. The Medicare doesn't work. And Medicare for All is a failure, Bernie Sanders, just like you, motherfucker. Shut up. Shut up. I think RFK is going to do a phenomenal job, and I can't wait till he gets confirmed. Hopefully at some point that will happen. Today. These fucking chambers and conferences and all this crap can take forever. Fucking allergies. But I figured I would do this podcast and I'd see what you guys think. The media is changing. We are the media. And we get to decide what the news is, not them. For years, they had people attached to remotes and televisions. And now everybody's on their phone and their iPads, and they're clicking on a button. And they're getting everything that they get from TikTok, X, Truth, Rumble, and podcasts. And they can't stop that. They can't censor it, and they can't control it. This is a true takeover of all of it. The media is dead, and they're not allowed anyway. I'll see you same place, same time tomorrow. Don't forget that this is America, the brave, the red, the white, the blue. We are a star. America forever. See you guys tomorrow. Bye. And even if you're not in America, even if you're in another country and you don't feel like you have a voice, this is a podcast where you do. I love everybody all around the world, regardless of the color of your skin, within reason. I'm sorry, if you're in Hamas or you're in Gaza, nah, because you hate me and you want me to die. But within reason, right? If you're somewhat there, and you're not trying to cause harm to my fellow Americans or me, then I have love for you. The government around the world has convinced the people that it's supposed to be a representation of that you don't have a voice, but you do. It wants to take away your ability to have a feeling, have that feeling. Canada, don't worry. America is going to save you by making you a state. Greenland, Denmark can eat an ass chip. There's ways for you to know your freedom, and you don't have to be scared. Be proud. Be loud. It has to be a better way that we live. I'm convinced we'll get there. The world's going to be a better place once the people in the world recognize their power. It's your voice. Don't be silent. Be loud. Thank you for tuning into this Hump Day edition of No Media Allowed, No Media Allowed, No Media Allowed. Because they lie to us anyway. We are all gray together in this world. We are just different variations of that gray. And we are taking the world back from the World Health Organization and eat shit. Because it's over. See you guys tomorrow.